Hello my friends and welcome. Let's go for the frontline updates because there are some significant changes. It seems like Ukraine went on a new stage of the counterattack. There is no recent update for the military map, however, we see that near to Orikhiv and Novodanilivka, Ukrainian forces move forward, but there is some other place, I'll tell you about it a little later, where the fighting is happening just right now and it is very intense. But first let's speak about this area. Novodanilivka is important because it opens the way to take Tokmak. It's basically very close, there are no straight roads to that place. However, the weather is pretty much good, so the soil is very solid and able to withstand the weight of the tanks, so they may use the field road. However, Russia created lots of the defense lines in that area, but still we were able to capture more of the land today, so it was yesterday and it is today. Little by little we are moving forward. Around 1 week ago, our convoy was ambushed near to Orikhiv and Ukraine already gained control over that area where the convoy was ambushed, and we took all of the vehicles out for the maintenance. Yes, there were some vehicles and tanks that were completely lost, but mainly we evacuated all of we can repair. As you can see, we have even one of the Bradley units in one of our maintenance facilities, but as for the Leopard 2 tanks, they were taken abroad to Poland because we're in lack of the special facilities to fix those sophisticated tanks. As for the crew of this particular Bradley, everyone survived, and that's why we need the Western made equipment. It is the good tool to get success on the front lines, plus it saves the lives of our soldiers. Unlike the Soviet-made infantry vehicles, they're very outdated and their armor is nothing close compared to the Bradley. Also about this particular area in Orikhiv and Novodanilivka, Ukraine is getting ready to push forward with more reinforcements. At least the information about it was shared on Ukrainian plus Russian resources. You see that in the 21st century it's very hard to hide the forces. It was very hard during the Second World War, but now with all of those surveillance, satellites and the drones, our enemy knows where we are, unfortunately. However, the lack of the competence of the Russian command plays in favor of Ukraine. So as for the information which is also coming from our enemy side, Ukraine is planning the night attack using the advantage in the night vision that installed on many of Western-made vehicles. Not only the night vision but also thermal cameras, which are much better compared to the Russian-made cameras. Going to the west to Lobkova, everything was more or less calm there today because the International Atomic Agency is now working in Energodar and this area is kind of close. There's the hot military conflict ongoing, so the director of the Atomic Agency was worried about his own safety, but finally he went to Energodar nuclear power plant and they're inspecting the water reservoir. It is now the main concern for the nuclear power plant. Near to Velika Novosilka, it was the hot day. Ukraine tries to move down the river and tries to get Rivnopil under the control, but according to the military map update, today there were no any changes. However, the Ukrainian army started a counterattack near to Vuhledar in two of the directions, and today I published some of the videos on my Telegram channel with actual fighting from that area. It is hard to say whether this move from Ukrainian side was successful. We also used the Western-made vehicles for that, but not the heavy ones. Let's go to the northeast to Marinka. There is also the heavy fighting ongoing. Ukraine tries to get all of the village under the control. Actually, this is not the village but the small town that was completely demolished. There is not a single building left, so the fighting is continued for the ruins and for the control of the frontline zone. From what we know, Kadyrovites established some of the soldiers in that area, but those were attacked by Ukrainian rockets. By the way, today we still don't know the destiny of Delimhanov, the main general of Chechnya. There were no any reports from him, no any videos. So as I understand, something really happened to that guy. As for the Bakhmut area, there was the significant fight today and the 3rd Assault Brigade moved forward, so I expect them to liberate Kryshivka very soon, and if we do it, we can go to Opetne and then to the Bakhmut from the south. Plus today it was confirmed that Ukraine reached the important heights in the Bakhmut region. I think those heights are over there near to Berhivka water storage. One of our soldiers filmed that video, so the hills were taken, and Bakhmut, you can actually spot everything of what is happening, at least in the front area of the Bakhmut city. Even without using the drones, you can check out the Russians' movements and fire artillery towards their places. This hill was taken 2 days ago. As for the Russian-controlled territory, it's been confirmed that Russians entered Novaya Tovolzhanka and they've took that village back, unfortunately. The locals reported that the Russian soldiers started to take their belongings from their households, TVs, refrigerators, washing machines. So they are shocked right now. They were silent about their army performing the same things in Ukraine, and now there is some sort of the karma. So I was speaking about the offensive operation that Ukraine performs just right now. It is happening in Nova Kakhovka. It is reported that Ukraine landed on the other part of the shore. Nova Kakhovka was flooded, but now the water level went down significantly, and our forces probably were able to cross the Dnieper River. We have the evening video from the Russian side. Let's listen. As you heard, there is the fighting. Ukrainian soldiers used the automatic rifles, and also there were some booms, so the heavy vehicles also could have crossed the Dnieper River. Actually, it should be the proper spot for the Ukrainian counterattack. Yes, we are unable to send more reinforcements. For that, we need the reliable bridge, but using the boats and using amphibious vehicles that was sent to Ukraine by our Western allies, we may liberate the part of the land in this area and create the hub for our supplies, and later on we're gonna get the Panton Bridge ready and send more reinforcements to the area. So actually this question could be solved. President Zelensky in his interview to NBC News said that the counterattack goes slowly right now because Ukrainian army hasn't sent all of their reserves. We are still searching for the weak spot in the Russian defense lines. He said that Russia prepared for this counteroffensive and it is kind of hard for our army this time. Nevertheless, President said that the counteroffensive should be successful. In that case, we're gonna win the war. This image was published on Twitter saying that it is the plan for Ukrainian counteroffensive. I'm not sure about it. Our general command only knows how the counterattack is planned, and I guess that those plans might be corrected on the way. As you can see here, the main vector is in Berdansk and also in Melitopol. By doing so, Ukraine may cut Russian army into pieces, let's say. But you know, it's just someone's idea. We'll see how it's going to happen. The main battle still awaits ahead. There was the new Ramstein meeting today. Lloyd Austin said that Russia continued to publish thousands of pictures that made from 10 of the perspectives of destroyed Ukrainian or ambushed Ukrainian leopards and Bradleys. Putin said that Ukraine lost around 25% of all of the Western help in that attack, which is complete nonsense. Lloyd Austin says that even though it's very hard to predict the outcome of the Ukrainian counterattack, Ukraine has everything to make it a successful special military operation. And again, the new military help was announced for Ukraine. We have the joint statement from Denmark, Netherlands, UK and USA to provide the air defense rockets for Ukrainian army, and we know that transfer of the rockets already has been started and will finish in a couple of weeks. Plus, we already have the confirmation that the F-16 type rating course for our pilots has already been started in some of the European countries. Alright, here's the most recent photo of Grossi, who's the director of the International Atomic Agency, and he went to the Russian-controlled, temporary controlled territory. You can see lots of the Russian propaganda journalists, and here they launched the fountains to show that they have enough water for cooling. Grossi stated that for now everything is safe for the nuclear power plant, but they need to get new water to reservoir, otherwise it could escalate. For how long it may continue to be safe, we don't have this information. Denmark and Netherlands will send 14 more Leopard 2 tanks to Ukrainian army. Unfortunately, those tanks will be delivered not in a few weeks, but at the beginning of the next year. Politico, with their article that the counteroffensive success is very important for the White House because soon there's gonna be rallies and the United States will enter this pre-election protest. But here we need to be patient with the Ukrainian counteroffensive because we have just a single chance for it. We have resources for a single counteroffensive this year. Even though that United States and other allies continuously say that they will support Ukraine as long as it takes, we know the reality that everything depends on the policy, on the Congress, on the White House, and also on success of Ukrainian army. I think that is what Putin awaits right now. He is waiting for the election year and he wants the White House administration to change or the Congress to change as well. He wants allies to stop supporting Ukraine in the long-term perspective. He wants to secure the current status quo. He wants to get more weaponry, and in a few years he'll try to attack Ukrainian territory again, including Kyiv. So the only important way is to support Ukraine with every means just right now, also with fighter jets, with the long-range missiles, for our army to be more successful on the front lines. I just hope that it will be like that. President Zelensky also said that he is quite concerned about the possible White House administration change after the elections. Ouch! One of the United States senators blocked the transfer of the himars systems to Hungary. Hungary signed a contract with Lockheed Martin for more than $700 million for those himars. However, I think that we're gonna get those, not the Hungary. Hungary doesn't have the rocket artillery systems in their army, so this contract was quite important for them, but not anymore. Alright, Kadyrov published the photo with Delimhanov and they're looking at some sort of the map. Maybe it is the Ukrainian map or the part of the front lines, but this is an old photo. Yet we don't have any kind of the proof that Delimhanov is alive, I mean photo or video. Russians say that the Ukrainian intelligence director Budanov was severely injured and now he is in Germany in coma state. It reminds me the story about Zaluzhny, so maybe Putin on his next press conference will say that they eliminated Budanov. Actually, they don't have any kind of the proofs for that. You may say that, Dennis, you don't have any proofs for Delimhanov either. Yes, but the information about Delimhanov was coming from the Russian side, from their official faces, from Kadyrov himself, from the Russian speaker of their parliament, and they all said that something went wrong. But Budanov, Russia reported that he was wounded on 29th of May, but actually Budanov recorded the video after 29th of May, just after Ukraine started the counteroffensive operation, where Budanov was just silent. For the first time in the history, Israel will sell around 200 Merkava tanks to European consumers. Theoretically, those tanks may appear in Ukrainian army. I may say that it is not the ideal tank for the Ukrainian warfield. It has lots of the disadvantages, especially for Ukrainian terrain. If you want, I can make one more video particularly about this tank, but we'll see anyways. And it may play its own important role, but we need to use this tank for particular operations. But yet we don't have it in Ukrainian army, so it's very early to talk. The good thing that Germany will handle the demining vehicles based on the Leopard 1 tank, We lost some of the vehicles like that based on the Leopard 2. For successful move in, we need those as soon as possible. The Swedish BMP's CV9040C were spotted in Ukraine already. We were promised with around 50 of those combat vehicles, and those are awesome. This is the Ukrainian Leopard 2A4 that was evacuated from the front lines. As you can see, it got the damage right into the turret, right on the top. Unfortunately, there is the place for one of the soldiers a little bit in front of the commander, so this guy is responsible for aiming and targeting the targets. Unfortunately, I think that gunner at least got wounds, and this tank, I think we can repair this metal, but metal is not as important as human lives. One more Leopard 2A4 that was evacuated. As you can see, our guys put some of the woods just under it to pull it out from the stack position. As for this tank, I think more or less it is okay. One more image of that particular Leopard tank. As you can see, the tank is okay, probably it just got stuck in that terrain. The Bayraktar company started the tests of the small cruise missile that could be launched from their drones, and the range of this cruise missile is 200 kilometers. That is the same range of the Bayraktar itself. Well, it behaves like a standard cruise missile, is just a little smaller but very smart. Bayraktars are quite vulnerable against the Russian air defense systems, and those cruise missiles may help to avoid the range of the Russian air defense. My friends, now press the like to this video, and also if you want to support my job, there will be some links in the video description just below. You may support me on PayPal, Patreon, or just on the sponsorship on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your awesome support. I wish you all a peaceful sky wherever you are, and have a great time.